Well, here we go on a really good ride between Woking and Walton upon Thames, and we're just going to go to Walton Bridge, and from there you can just carry on a little bit further, end up at Hampton Court or Kingston, or work your way into London. We've got loads of other rides though locally. You can see here to Hatchlands, to the Valley Gardens, to Wisley or Swinley Forest. So if you want any more rides, then look at our tandem page on Komoot, Paul and Diane on the tandem. You can see there we've got 748 tours available across the UK. So we're starting here on the Basingstoke Canal. We're going to get into Woking, and then we just carry on up the canal until we get to the River Way navigation, and then we'll join the Thames path at the Thames Lock, and we're just going to return. It's 25 miles there and back. It's about 12.5 miles each way. You'll see we took a little extra route here just to get back to Knapp Hill from St John's by taking the canal. So here we are leaving St John's on the canal. The quality of the surface is excellent. Absolutely no problems whatsoever riding along here, although you will find lots of people. So we do actually recommend that you use your bell as often as you can. Just give them a warning when you're maybe 10 metres, 20 metres back, and then a second one as you get up close. Sometimes they don't hear because they've got their headphones in. So we work our way into the heart of Woking. Here we are just on the edge of Horsell and coming into Woking, and you'll find that there's more and more people on the canal towpath as we get here. So be careful. But it's a great place to stop, and just here beyond this bridge there is a canal boat that serves tea and coffee, and you can sit there. So if you've come from a distance before you get here, that's a good place to stop, and you can go into the town, and there's toilets and plenty of other places to eat. We go over this bridge that's not ideal for tandems, but it's fine for ordinary bikes, and then we carry on the towpath. Now there will be fewer people here, but sometimes you get dog walkers, and one of the things that you can find is in the autumn when the leaves fall, it gets muddy and nobody sweeps the leaves off, so they just turn into mud. As we get out the back of Woking towards sort of Sheerwater area, very pretty on the left hand side. You can see there's a bit of building work going on underneath the bridge, but the surface is generally good, not too slippery, quite wide, and there's a bit of a boundary before the water, so if you've got youngsters with you, it's not too bad a trip at all. It's all very level, and we're now heading up the back end of Woking over towards really Bishop David Brown School will be coming up soon on the right. The Basingstoke Canal forms the sort of the spine really and the backbone of many of the journeys that we do, because it's a really easy way to get up towards London in that direction, or if you want to go the other way towards Fleet or Aldershot or anything. So we head up here, and it's generally fairly clear. Watch out for dogs that are on leads that may be stretching across the path. That bridge there we go underneath, and then just up here you'll find there's a bit of a chicane that's a bit of a nuisance, I must admit, because it's too tight to get a tandem around. It's okay for solo bikes, but when you're on a tandem it's a real nuisance because we have to lift and shift as we get round there. So here we are at the last of the locks. Okay, so we go under the bridge here, and then we've got this chicane. What a nuisance this one is. Always catches us out. There's no way around it. Just not good for longer bikes. But up here, this is the narrowest bit of path, and this can sometimes get very muddy. There is a parallel road, but I'm not sure whether it's private property or whether we're allowed on it or not, but we stick to this path. And then you've got the bridge at the end, and please, when you get to the bridge, you're going to get off and walk, but we push our bikes over here, and now we're joining the River Wey at West Byfleet. So the River Wey is a completely different surface because it's not really that well made up, so it hasn't got any surface covering on it. It can get very muddy, and it's also a bit rooty, so these trees all the way along, the roots go along, so it's quite a bouncy route. So I'd recommend going a little bit slower down here, work our way along. We do have to cross this bit of road here, but it's not tricky because there is a proper place. So we just wait, cross the road, and then we're back. And this is probably the muddiest bit as we head up the back of Newhaugh and work our way towards Addlestone. You can see that in the winter this is particularly slippery, so do be very careful, but the rest of the year it's fairly dry. So we're heading our way on now, and we're getting to the edge of Cox's Lock, which is in Addlestone. It's a big mill that they've got there. And now we carry on past the factories, and we're heading now towards Weybridge. So not far up here, past these buildings, we then have to come up and over the top, and you may wish to go in towards the road. There's a bit of a pavement there, but we just followed this path, but it is a footpath, so you do get in the way of people. Then you just have to cross this road here and turn almost immediately down, and this is Weybridge, and this is where the two parts of the river diverge or converge depending on which direction you're flowing. And we work our way here along to Thames Lock. This can be a bit bouncy, and you need to be just a little bit careful of the number of people. Certain times of the day this gets really, really busy, and there's a bit of a tight bridge coming up here. This one, it's quite difficult to cycle on it, so I would recommend pushing, because if your handlebars catch the side it'll tip you over and you could go over the edge. As we head up towards Thames Lock here, you have to get off, so please walk through this section and just walk and press your bike. Now this is the steepest little bridge you've ever got, so with a big heavy tandem it's quite a route to get over. Now we follow along here around the edge of the park, keep the railings on your left. It's just that we're pushed away from the river just for a little bit, and then along this private bit of road out the bridge. Now just here on the left, that is your cycle path, but we can't get down there on a tandem. All solo bikes can easily, so you're just going to see a little bit of road as we go up to the edge of the road, turn left, and then head towards a car park, which is where we rejoin. But you would have just come out there on the edge, be on the pavement, and then straight down here into joining the Thames proper. So here we are. There's lots of boats, and this is quite interesting. It's not a brilliant surface in some ways, but it's really wide, so there's not usually a problem riding down here, and we don't have to go far before we end up at Walton upon Thames. But just again be aware that it can be quite busy with people at certain times of the day. That's particularly dog walking time or kicking out of school time. Boats are always interesting, and there's lots of rivers and bridges with interesting activities going on, and quite often you'll see rowing clubs. But here we are, Walton on Thames, long car park here, and at the far end you can see that building on your right that has got toilets and a cafe, and we're just going to head up towards the bridge, and you could carry on up to Hampton Court and up towards London, Kingston, etc. But we're just going to turn round now. So thank you for joining us. I'll put the rest of the journey back because the trip home takes about an hour and a bit. And depending on the speed at which you go, you might be able to do it, if it's fairly clear of pedestrians, in just over the hour. But normally we try and accommodate other users there and make it about an hour and a half to an hour and 45. Okay, so thank you very much for joining us, and I'll just leave you with the tail end of this journey. Bye for now.